From the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com, it's time for your favorite Android podcast. Kick back now and enjoy another fine episode from these fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 188 of the Blind Android Users podcast. We're recording today, Saturday, July the 13th, 2024. I'm Warren Carr from the state of Washington.
I'm Ed Green from London.
John Dyer from Virginia.
Karin Kiwan from Lebanon.
And it's Salih Kunduz from Turkey.
It is nice to hear Ed coming back. We thought we lost him for good. Just kidding. Welcome back, Ed. It's been a while, and nice to see you come back. And how is London, Ed?
Yeah, London is preparing for football fever tomorrow, as is England, with England in the final of the Euros. I've got to say I'm not optimistic because of the coach, but we can hope that football is indeed coming home. It's been a while. Really glad to be back.
Well, that's good, though. I hope you guys win, whoever you're playing against. But I'm not sure that Sally will agree with you. Maybe Sally would.
So we're playing Spain. No, we're playing Spain. Sally shouldn't have any Spanish allegiances, I don't think.
You don't know. There may be a Maria out there that he's after. Sally?
Well, football deserves coming back home, but I don't think they have like a lot of chances making it. But let's see what happens. Best of luck, just because of Ed.
I think they've got the better side. It's just it's not led very well.
Yeah.
We have the best player in the Spanish league anyway. They don't.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham. So we'll see.
Well, look at the coach you have.
Well, exactly. And I've been saying that for 6 years, but never mind. If I am proved wrong, I will promise to eat vegetarian food in our canteen. I'm that. I will do that next week if England win the Euros. That is my pledge, and I'll do a little audio clip if it happens, and we can share it.
Oh boy, Sally, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. You know, this week's been really hot, and I don't like it at all. We've been over 32 degrees Celsius, and it was crazy, especially yesterday. And yeah, I'm really looking for some rain again. And how are you?
I'm doing well. You know, talking about temps, we've been up there. Gosh, I mean, 3-digit. Tuesday, Wednesday was 104, 105, believe it or not. And then Thursday was 98. I think yesterday was 99. And now we're going to be back to maybe 102. So forget that. It's just a hot summer. July is here to shine. So I'm not complaining. I'm staying inside the house, nice and cool. John, what's going on, my man? You got some new toys, or what's going on?
Well, I've got a new setup, so I'm sitting at an actual desk with my computer and a real microphone. Before I've just been like plugging a headset into my phone. So yeah. Trying something a little more professional feeling. Don't know if it'll sound any better, but it feels better.
That's good. That's good. The pretty girl, Karin, what's going on? Any more fruits in Lebanon? Maybe the sun is too much, or what's going on? I know you don't like the heat too much, even though I argue it gives us food.
Well, I know that you will like it if you are here because we are starting to have grapes and apricot and peaches, I think, are started to be in the market. So yeah, it's the fruit time. Actually, I don't care at all about fruits. I don't like them. I don't like most of them. So
that's the problem.
So, yeah, I'm suffering from the hot weather without getting any gain. So this is the problem. But yeah, yeah.
The guy from Poland would just got very excited because he said peaches. So we have to. We should have said trigger warning. So just our sentiment, cataclysmic joy. If indeed you can have cataclysmic joy.
the potato boy
Wasn't-
will be
Wasn't he
all over
calling
it.
himself potato before? I don't know why he just converted to peaches.
He still
He
goes
loves
by
peaches,
potato.
though.
He just loves pizza.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, I love those fruits, and this time of year is just absolutely beautiful. So, the plums in my yard, they're starting to ripe. Kind of a little bit delayed this year, but it's okay. Well, coming up in this episode, we have for you, of course, the Samsung Unpacked 2024. And we got a lot of fans of the Samsung devices here. John, Carrie, and Sally. I'm not sure that Ed is part of that crowd. Ed, are you into Samsung devices at all? I know you have the A34 or A35.
Yeah, I like Samsung well enough. I had one as my first proper Android daily driver, the A90. I think they are, I don't know, I find them slightly laggy compared to some of the others, but I do like Samsung. I like what they do. I like their additional accessibility features, the hardware buttons especially. So I do like Samsung. I've never quite gone all in with them, but I definitely prefer them to Pixels.
Yeah. So that's what we have coming up. And then we have an app of the week. And with that, we would be concluding today's episode. And now, the announcement segment. This is a segment dedicated to things we want you to be in the know. And now for this week's episode, here's your announcements. In the announcements, do we have any announcements, guys? Ed or John, anything to talk about in the announcement segment?
I have one. The bonanza is fast approaching. We're going to do it turn of the month. We haven't quite decided whether it'll be the last week in July or first week in August, but do please send us some apps. Keep them snappy, sort of 10 minutes ish is good, 10 to 15 at the outside probably. Do have a little look-see on our YouTube channel to see if we've demoed them before. Sally and I, amusingly, a couple of app bonanzas ago, independently demoed the same app and didn't check. That was funny. So to be fair, we couldn't have checked our YouTube channels, but we could have told each other, or I could have kept a better eye on the Telegram group, more specifically because Sammy submitted his first. So try not to do that. But yeah, do send us your contributions. Tour of the app, demonstrating some functionality, maybe some settings, but keep them to a brisk sort of 10-15 minutes if you can. But please get them in. We'll say for now by Friday the 26th of July. Don't post them to the Telegram group, please send them to contact us at blindandroidusers.com.
Thank you for that reminder, Ed. And frankly, guys, when we talk about these app bonanzas, you guys haven't been participating as you ought to. So step up to the plate and give us some apps that you like. And lots of them in your phone there, believe it or not, that we probably haven't demonstrated. So again, the key is to check to see if we have demonstrated it. So go to our YouTube channel, just type in Blind Android Users, and then type the name of the app to see if we have demonstrated it or not. And if you are in doubt, just send us an email and we'll let you know if we've demonstrated such an app or not. So we're looking forward to having some apps from you. I'm looking at you, Gary. I'm going to call you out by name.
Yeah, and we would like to keep doing this quarterly, but if the participation stays like it is, we might cut back a little bit. So
exactly.
Please send in your demos.
Yeah. So if we get more, then, we'll keep to the quarterly thing. But if not, maybe we'll do it a time or two over a year or something like that. So guys, let's keep the app bonanza going. Let's not allow it to die. Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews with developers or interesting happenings in the world of Android. And now for this week's episode, here's your Spotlight. Let's now go ahead though and turn on to the big boy in the room and talking about that Samsung Unpacked of 2024. Samsung had that event back on Wednesday, July the 10th. John, O'Sally, and Karen, you guys are the big Samsung guys. I'm going to let you guys kick this off.
So I want to ask John, are you excited about the flip?
The quick answer is no.
Why no?
It's so iterative.
He
They're
is flipping.
yeah, they basically, the biggest change is the price. Like they raised the prices of both models, the flip and the fold, by $100. And I mean, yeah, it's the new chip. But other than that, I mean, the flip has one better camera than it did last generation. But other than that, the specs on these things are basically identical, and then to what they were last year. And they're just slightly redesigned, especially the fold has a little bit of a larger outside screen. I mean, it's only 3 millimeters wider or something like that, but people claim it does make a difference for typing and stuff like that. So that's basically the only difference. So if I had one, I would definitely not be upgrading.
So let me know if I'm wrong. Is it the first one over $2,000?
No, that's the fold.
First
That's
phone
the fold,
ever. Like,
right?
is it the first one ever? Like,
so it's
pricing this high?
technically $1,900 now. It was $1,800 last year. This is U.S. pricing, obviously, but
Yeah.
in the U.S. it was $1,800. Now it's $1,900. I can't really say what the prices are anywhere else.
Is it the most expensive one ever, or did you see any other? Yeah,
it is.
That's what I mean.
I can think of one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's like that I know of. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Well, it's the most expensive Samsung phone, but Sony takes that crown. So I think Sony's phone, this one, like for $2,500.
Sony doesn't have a phone that starts at $1,900 though. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They have a $2,500 phone. Go figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know.
But is that like the starting version, or is that like the 1 terabyte?
No, not the starting. That's the top of the line.
1 TB version.
Yeah, I'm saying a starting, like
Starting.
cannot get this phone for
no,
any cheaper.
no. I think Samsung takes that crown.
Yeah, but does anyone remember when they released the first Fold? What was its price?
I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't this high.
I think it
I
was
want to
more
say it
than
was
that.
about 1,400. I think it was about maybe 1,400. No, or was it higher?
Maybe 13.
I'm going to admit I don't know the answer to this question, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was higher.
Do we want to Google it live on the show?
Sure.
Let me see.
Would someone do
see.
that?
1,980.
So if the first one was 1980,
Yep,
that's more expensive than this one,
2019.
isn't it?
back in 2019, according to MSNBC, I think.
So as they say, history repeats itself. So we're going back to when it first started. It's been what? That's 5 years now, and this is the sixth
All right, so
iteration.
it says it was released on
We already got that,
April
Sammy.
2026. Yeah, all right.
CNBC, sorry, I found it, not MSNBC.
Yeah, all right.
The same link that I was viewing, by the way. So this is the first result also for me.
Yep.
Wow, that was $2,000. Now, because frankly, like here in the States, by the time you add taxes, depending where you are, 1980, if you're purchasing something of 1980, definitely your taxes are going to be over $100. So when it's all said and done, we're looking at almost $2,200. That's too much.
Yeah, but that was the first one. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
so
that's
I
the
think
thing.
now
Like,
we could consider it more expensive.
Yeah.
yeah, like they've worked
That's
out
true.
supply chain issues and production. Like it should not continue to raise in price. It should continue to go down in price.
So if that was the fold and we're folding our hands, how about the flip? How much does it start with? Is it like $1,500, $1,600, or $1,700?
It's only $1099, so 1,100 instead
Yeah.
of 1,000. But it still went
It will
up.
be
It
10.
also went up by $100.
Yeah, well, it seems like every year, though, things tend to be going up, especially last couple or 3 or so years, if you look at the trend. But
Yeah.
Samsung, though, seems like last couple of years have been kind of steady. I don't know, maybe this year.
They have.
I think it's all Qualcomm's fault. Are they not using Qualcomm chips in this one?
They are.
Yeah, so it could be that they're feeling the pinch from Qualcomm making things a little bit more expensive.
And is that global, or are they using X and us in some markets?
Yeah, obviously everyone is getting Qualcomm versions, so there won't be any separated versions.
It's always been this way with the folding devices, right? Or am I
Yeah,
wrong?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's just the S series that has been very inconsistent. You never know what you're going to get. So is it safe to assume none of us have pre-ordered this phone?
Thank you.
So no one is
Either of them.
pre-ordering and getting $50.
Spend
Is that-
$2,000, get $50.
Wow. Is that the offer? Are they doing the thing they do on the S series where they'll match the lower price on the next storage variant? Do you know what I mean? Where you pay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they are.
You get the
Yeah.
free upgrade, so that $1,900 will get you the 512 version, which I guess would normally cost over 2,000. Like, man, I
Yeah.
think it's 2020 or something
Yeah,
weird like that.
something like that.
Yeah, and same with the flip. So that $1,100 will get you the 512 gigabyte version. And then if you pay what the 512, the better deal is if you pay what the 512 gigabyte version starts at, you'll get the 1 terabyte version on the fold, because normally that's like an extra $200 just to get from like 512 to 1 terabyte. So that's the better deal. You know, if you're going to spend $1,900, if you pay an extra $120, you'll get the 1
One
terabyte
TV.
version.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Oh, so you are pre-ordering.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Warren is switching to Samsung.
Oh boy, no, I wouldn't. Well, I'm waiting for my own Unpacked, coming up in August. But frankly, so I think though that the one thing that kind of surprises me, I'd always been under the impression that every app works on the outer screen of the fold or the flip. But they were mentioning the fact that they're going to be supporting Gmail on the outer, screen. But right now, by default, it's not. So it's going to be happening. So that took me by surprise.
Yeah, for the flip, you can make any app work, but you have to install some good luck modules to get that to work. So they're saying out of the box now they've added a couple more widgets, I guess that's what they call them, to the cover screen.
Another thing worth mentioning, which Samsung didn't talk about, is that the flip does not support DeX, D-E capital X.
Yeah, that's disappointing. For an $1,100
That's so silly. Didn't the
Yeah.
other one support that though? And if it did, why would
No,
they
I don't
make
think it ever has.
Oh,
I
it
could be
never
wrong,
had.
but
Okay.
yeah, but still, it should. Like other phones with the same processor support. Like there's no technical limitations. It could. They just don't want it to.
I know we've talked about DeX before, but do you want to remind everyone what it is?
It's sort of like a desktop experience where you can wirelessly connect to a display, and then you can either use your controller as like a touchpad. Obviously, this is mainly for sighted users, like as a mouse pad type of thing, or you could just do other things on your phone while you still have whatever going on the TV. And it kind of makes it more of a desktop experience with the projection. Like you can have different windows, floating windows, and that sort of thing.
Okay. And just going back to the flip of the storage variant, is there a 1 terabyte flip, or is that a fold thing?
No, I don't think that the Flip has a one TV. Does it?
Yeah,
I think it's
I
just the
don't think so
Fold.
either.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Now, talking about the decks, though, it surprises me because it should actually, in reality, be the one that would support that decks because I have this little flippy thing. I could just put it down by my computer and use it as a mouse pad, like you said, John, connect it to my computer and give me a bigger screen. So that should be the one that should actually have that dex support. What's Samsung doing here? I think Samsung made a mistake by not allowing it to support DeX.
One thing is that it will be supporting 7 years of updates. So 700 versions like the S series devices, the S24. And another thing that the Fold now has a better IP rating regarding dust resistance. So it's not the best, but it is still better than how it was before. I don't remember if this is also with the Flip. Someone could give this information. But the Fold now is with better dust rating. So this could just give people slightly better experience with respect to dust exposure, or if the phone is exposed to big particles of dust.
Has it gone to 57? What's it at? Can you remember the IP?
I think it's 47. So
Ooh.
it. Some people say it's dust resistant. Some people say it's not. It depends on the size of the dust.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the point, but not 50. No, it's less than that.
Well, so it's a little bit better than what it used to be, though, kind of gradually getting there with each iteration of the Fold and all of that. So because I think it's important that it supports that IP because you're folding it and something can get in the fold in there. So it is nice to see that it's getting improved. Maybe next year it would even be better. Well, so we talk about the watch. We got 2 watches in the 7 series, don't we?
Yeah, we have the Watch 7 in 2 sizes, 40 millimeters and 44 millimeters. And then we have the Watch Ultra in 47 millimeters, I think, for...
That's the El Macho. That's the kind I would like.
Yeah. And does anybody remember the exact processor they have? It's a new processor. It's 3 nanometers. So it's supposed to be 3 times faster than the last generation of watches.
I think it's Exynos 1000, isn't it?
Not sure, but it's definitely an improvement. And the good thing is that all 3 watches have that processor. I think their specs are very similar. They all have 32 gigabytes of memory now, or storage, I should say. And I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 2 gigabytes of memory now.
Yeah, it's 2 gigs of RAM.
Yeah, so basically, if you want the Ultra, you're just paying for a larger screen, better build, brighter screen, and a bigger battery. So you don't really lose out. You can, for that $300 entry point. Oh, we didn't say the prices. So it starts at $300 for the regular Watch 7, and then depending on if you add Bluetooth or LTE or get the larger size, the price is going to go up in increments from there. But then the Ultra only comes in an LTE, and it's $650.
I know some people have kind of, been bemoaning the fact that Samsung's making that for $650. And, frankly, I really don't think that they're kind of being, insensitive here, jumping from 300 base model, like the regular small one to the Ultra at 650. Doesn't Fruitvale, and when I say Fruitvale, I'm talking about Apple.
Higher,
doesn't Apple have their own higher than that? And why is it that some people want to give Samsung grief over this?
Yeah, it was north of $800 when it launched. I can't remember exactly what it was, but the Apple Watch Ultra was high.
And this is just as good from a hardware standpoint. It's same type of build quality, same type of like water resistance, and it's got an even brighter screen. People have said that not only did they copy Apple's name for the watch, but they copied like it now has an action button. Of course, it's not called that. It looks a little more square, although the screen
It's round.
The screen is round, but
Yeah.
the part that houses the screen is like a squircle, so it's like a rectangle with rounded corners. So they're saying, and I'm not going to deny it, they're sort of copying Apple's aesthetic a little bit, although yeah, but so it's a better watch for the money for sure, I think.
And that housing is titanium grade 4, for the Ultra. It's basically an outdoor. If you're someone who likes rough and tumble out there, probably this is the one to go for. Otherwise, like you said, John, that's what distinguishes it from the other one, besides the fact that it has a bigger battery at 590 milliamp to the other one that's smaller and all of that. So now, frankly, if I were into Samsung ecosystem, this is the one I would get, because the size is there. You got great titanium housing, and then you got big battery. It's a great watch. So if you're into that, probably that's what I'll go for. But it's a little expensive. But you know what? If you really want it, you want to get it.
I'm curious to see. I mean, I haven't pre-ordered. I don't know if I will. I probably won't. Hopefully I won't. But I'm curious to see what people think of TalkBack on this. The processor they claim is 3 times faster, but the real question is, how much will that improve the TalkBack experience? Because I don't shy away from saying that I don't like TalkBack on phones. Not phones. I don't like TalkBack on watches in the same way I don't like TalkBack on Google TV. It's a horribly slow experience. So I'm curious to see if it improves that at all. I hope it does.
Yeah, well, John, though, unless one gets it and tries it, we cannot judge a book by its cover, or because of the past. I would like to believe, though, that with the improvement in the processor, that it may make a little bit of a difference. Now, I may be wrong, but something tells me, my gut feeling says it may be a tad better than the experience that we've had prior till now. So just based on that, maybe you need to get one and unbox it and then send baby back home to mama.
Well, it depends on which model of watch you buy, but if I were to go with the Ultra, they'd give me $350 for my current watch 6 Classic. But if I just bought the base model, obviously they wouldn't give me $350 because it doesn't even cost $350. I think it's like $150 or something they give you. But yeah, and that reminds me, I wanted to mention they've once again removed the rotating bezel. So there's no, they did this with the Watch 5 series. They didn't have a Watch 5 Classic with a rotating bezel. People got upset. And then with the 6 series, it came back. And now, again, there's no rotating bezel. So if that's something you're a fan of, that physical rotating bezel, then you probably aren't going to be excited about these. I mean, obviously, it doesn't affect the functionality because you can still use a digital bezel. So when you put your finger around the edge of the phone, it kind of vibrates to mimic like turning a bezel. But yeah, if you like that physical bezel, it's once again gone. I mentioned I'm not a watch person, and something that kind of interests me, which Samsung has announced, is the new Ring. So if you like to track your health, your steps, your heart rate, your sleeping, that type of thing, you can now do it with a Ring. So it's a $400 ring that they've introduced. Is anybody interested in this at all?
Well, maybe single people like Sally and Karen, get a new wedding band if you have a little squeeze on the sideline that you're going to be tying the knot with. Then, maybe a $400 wedding band, that would sound good. Sally?
Well, I don't know. That would be
Ring
fun.
that baby, man. Put a ring on
Yeah, I'll ring it. Yeah.
it.
On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 Samsung rings.
Yeah, how long till we see TikTok videos or YouTube shorts of somebody proposing with one of these things? It won't be long at all.
Exactly. So Sally, you want to ring that baby up. Do you guys think though that $400 is a little expensive for a ring? I don't know. I'm not a ring person either. So when it comes to jewelry, just count me out. But probably it's not too much of a price, and yet in the same breath, it could be too much.
What's it
John,
made
what
of?
do you think? Or
What's
Ed?
it made of?
Pure
The
gold.
description is good. I think it sounds like it's a solid device.
But yeah, but like material
It's
wise,
not
is
made
it
of
gold?
anything precious that I
No.
know of. I mean,
So,
that would
no, this
that,
is
Yeah,
this
well,
is
would
well,
probably
Ed,
interfere with the
you're
connection.
not gonna be expecting to find a gold ring for $400. Come on, bro. Give me.
this is the question. Like you say, is it expensive? Like compared to what? There aren't any other smart rings out there. So all we're comparing
Yeah,
it to is
exactly.
precious
Well,
metal rings.
I'm just thinking of a ring, just an ordinary ring. For example, of course, this is a smart ring, but I don't know. Maybe because I'm not into rings and all of that, I don't have a clue as to how much these things cost. So to me, $400, kind of sounding a little steep, and yet in the same breath, like I said, it may just be a misconception on my part.
Yeah,
Well,
this is,
typically rings are made of precious metals, aren't they?
yeah,
So
you're
that's
not going to be wearing this as jewelry. It's
no.
you just think of it as a tracker. It's I think it's an okay price, I guess. Starting out, obviously it's going to be. We mentioned earlier the original price of the original fold. These things are expensive at first, and then eventually the price will come down. But when you compare it to the Watch 7, which has it starts at $300 and you get way more functionality out of the watch. It seems expensive there, but I don't know. I need to wait and find out how much functionality this has, because if you can, it depends what you can do. If you can, obviously it has no interface on it, so you can't interact with it. But if you could go in the Samsung Wearables app and do things like track workouts in the same way, like say what type of workout you're start it, have it record your workout, and that sort of thing. I could see why this would be very interesting, because like I said, I'm not a watch person, and the main reason is because I don't like interacting with the watch. It's not a pleasant experience for me. But if I was into all that other health data, which I know a lot of people are not into it, but it'd be a nice way to get all that without having to deal with a watch.
We should look at this differently. Actually, the ring itself is light, very light. They are able to put all of those sensors inside this ring, which is not big, which is, according to some people, it is an elegant piece. So it's good. For this reason, I think it's acceptable. The price is acceptable because we are talking about less space. But in the meantime, they were able to add all of those things into this ring. And also, it's the first iteration, it's the first device. So there's no competition, no real competition. I don't know if there's any Chinese company that did this before. I'm not sure. But I think that this is, actually, at least it is the first mainstream device that has this form factor. So for this reason, I think it's completely acceptable, the price. Well, it's not for me personally, because I hate rings. And even if I decide one day to be crazy and to get married, I will not wear a ring. So I hate rings so much. So, but this doesn't mean that for most people, this could be the better choice compared to the watch, or for some people. So I think that we should give it time. We should see how it goes. But I think that it will be an interesting device.
Yeah, and I think that I don't think we mentioned the battery life. They say it can get up to a week on a charge. So, you know, that would also be, that's also one of the things that people don't like about watches, having to charge it every day. So, you know, if you could get away with charging this thing, obviously, like we'll find out. If you can get away with charging this thing only once a week and you could just make that part of your routine, that would be a lot more convenient than having to worry about charging your watch every time the battery, either every day or every couple of days when the battery starts getting low.
It is just the point of put it and forget it. This is the most important point about it. Just put it, not like the watch. It's already light. It's already taking time to need charge. So just put it as any regular ring and complete your life. So and continue your life. So it's something I think very interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely the appeal of it, I think. So you mentioned competitors. There's one competitor, I think they call it the Aura ring. I don't know the details of it. I don't know how much it costs. But I think they might charge a subscription because Samsung made a big deal of saying that this, and we should point out, this does not require any sort of subscription. You know, some companies like to charge you for access to your own data, but luckily that's not going to be the case here.
And does the ring have any functionality by way of sensors or health data that the watch does not, or is it the kind of the convenience, the form factor, and the battery that takes it above the watch in price?
As far as I know, it doesn't. I mean, people have said that just the fact that it's on your finger means you'll get a more accurate heart rate. But physically, the sensors, I don't think they're like anything better than what you would get in a watch.
Samsung said that it is, well, you will get the best of the ring when you use it and use a watch at the same time. So they want you to buy the ring and the watch and use them together. So they say that you will be getting the best and accurate observations and stuff when you use them both.
When you give Samsung a load of money, in other words.
Exactly.
And presumably with the fold as well. It'll be amazing on the fold. You'll get all your health measurements in a lovely graph, better than on a smaller screen. Why don't you buy all of their lovely products?
Beautiful. Now, Karen, you kind of answered my question, though. I was going to be asking you a question. I was going to say, hey, so if someone comes up to you and wants to ring you up, would you accept this Samsung ring? But I think you've answered my question earlier on there. So if you're thinking of ringing Karen up with a Samsung ring, you better think twice.
Well, there's one condition that I can't say that I will put this, like, it's not important. No, it's the most important thing. It's the most important requirement. I'm not the ring person. I will never wear a ring, whether it is a diamond or whatever.
Well, so I am making a confession here. I'm not either. I don't have one.
Wow.
So, yes,
That's great.
I'm not a ring person. I just don't see me wearing a ring. It's like such an inconvenience for me. I don't know why. I'd never liked rings. So forget that.
Because you don't want the ladies to know. That's why.
He's got all his floozies, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy.
So for me, I don't mind wearing a ring. I don't notice it's there. You know, if it fits like a regular ring and it's not like extra clunky, I would be fine with it. But like I mentioned earlier, I'd want it to replace the watch. So if you needed the watch, or needed the watch for a better accuracy or all the features like Samsung is saying, then, you know, count me out, because I would want it to replace a watch. That would be the reason for getting it, for me personally.
Well, Samsung did not just stop here, right? They brought us those earbuds. Those of you that like those, I don't like sticking anything into my ears. But the cry out there is that this is a copycat of the Fruitvale, the Apple earbuds. What are your thoughts? I don't care what it looks like. All I want is some good sounding, right?
Yeah, it is. So it is flat out. They're copying, because they have not had any earbuds in the past that I can recall that have ever had like the stems on them. So they are definitely copying Apple, right down to the fact that they offer the non-pro version that just sits in your ears and doesn't have like those ear tips, and it still allows you to like hear what's going on around you. And then the pros have like the ear tips on them that go in your ears, and then they have noise cancellation and that type of thing. So yeah, the US prices are $180 for the Buds 3 and $250 for the Buds 3 Pro.
Yeah, see, I could just not see me buying something to stick in my ear for that price. I don't know. It's just, I remember back in the day, you know, the Walkman, and I used to have an earbud, you know, that hangs on your ear or whatever. I didn't like those things, but, you know, now they've become popular to where that's what people like. I'm still old-fashioned. Give me over-the-ear kind of headset. I know it's kind of sounding old school, but I just don't like anything sticking into my ears. I don't care what it is, whether it's $10,000 or whatever, and how great it is. I'm not going to put it in my ear.
Speaking of on ears, we'll get back to Samsung in a minute, and I haven't been on for a while. I got the new Sonos headphones, the Sonos Ace, recently.
Nice.
You stick them in your ears, Ed, or is it
No,
over the ear?
no. I don't like in ear. I like on ear. So
Oh,
over ear.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm not crazy then.
No, no, over ear. I'm not a fan. I can never get the tips to fit. I've got the AirPods Pro. I can't remember, like whichever one the first AirPods Pro were, and I tried the different ear tips. None of them seem to fit especially well, and especially if you're moving, they seem to want to come out. What I heard about the Samsung Buds 3 or read about them was that they're supposed to use AI to adjust sound based on your ambient setting. I don't know if that's just in noise cancelling or transparency or anything else. Has anyone else seen that on other products?
Yeah, it's supposed to I guess you could turn it on and off if you just don't want it to have control of it. But what it will do is, even if you have noise canceling enabled and it hears something that it thinks you should hear, like a siren, it will temporarily disable your noise canceling so you can hear the siren. And you know, if you have ambient mode on, where you want to, or transparency mode, whatever they're calling it, where you want to hear your surroundings, and something's like ridiculously loud, like construction sounds, it will lower those sounds for you. So I think that's what's going on.
Do you think I can teach you to recognize the sound of a drinks cart on a plane? Yes, I definitely want noise cancelling to be turned off when that happens. otherwise I might miss it. When the drinks cart comes round, that noise cancelling needs to come off immediately.
Definitely. I hear you. I'm with you on that one. But you know, seriously, and I think another part of the buds is the fact that now I think the translation, so maybe like another language or whatever, you could hear that in your ear, you know, the translation. I don't know how that works, but I think that's a good thing. Maybe would make people buy it.
I don't think that this is a feature that will be a deal breaker or a deciding factor for people. I think it's okay, it's a good one, but I don't think that it's the most important aspect about the Buds 3 or Buds 3 Pro. So we should, I think, wait to see if the Buds 3 and Buds 3 Pro are offering better experience compared to how it was the case with the Buds 2 and Buds 2 Pro, because both Buds 2 and Buds 2 Pro were not good with respect to microphone quality. Well, Samsung said that currently the Buds 3 Pro is able to differentiate your voice between your voice and the noise around it, and it's able to separate them better, which was a real weakness in the Buds 2 Pro and John, because you have the Buds 2 Pro, you are able to understand exactly what's the point here, because whenever we had some noise with the Buds 2 Pro, the voice itself, our voice would degrade so much, and the clarity would be impacted so much. So if they are really able to make this separation better with the Buds 3 Pro and the Buds 3, I think that this will be the real thing that will make people just upgrade. Other than that, I think if they are just giving you the same experience with the microphones and with the noise cancellation, I mean, the noise cancellation when you are in a call. If it's the same experience that we had with the Buds 2 Pro, then I think forget about it.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, only time will tell, but I think it will be better because just the physics of it, having that stem out of your ear with the microphone on the end, like it's just easier for it to isolate your voice because, it's not trying to hear your voice from inside your ear, basically. So I think it will be a little bit better. We'll just have to see how much better it is. The thing I'm concerned about is, and you'll know what I'm talking about, Kareen. Samsung, or maybe you won't. I don't know if it does it on your phone or not, but with the Buds 2 Pro, you cannot disable absolute volume, and that's a deal breaker for me. When I use my Buds 2 Pro with my Samsung phone, it does not respect that setting, and it's so annoying. So if I did pre-order the Buds 3, but if it is the same and it doesn't let me do that, then I'm sending them back.
Indeed, it's for me a deal breaker as well because it is so annoying, and it's happening only on Android 14. As you mentioned, and as I mentioned before, it's just impacting Android 14 devices. Well, for me, I'm using the Buds 2 Pro much less currently because of this bug. Actually, I just, I'm listening to music, then I lower the volume, and after that, I use my screen reader, and then after I want to go back and listen to my music, the volume will be loud because of this bug. So I think that if I continue using the Buds 2 Pro, I will be having a hearing impairment. So it's something terrible, really. It is like blasting in your ears, very loud, because you are using the screen reader. And when you lower the volume, you will not be able to hear your screen reader when the media is playing. So it's something terrible.
Yeah, I don't use mine with my phone either. So if I pair them with my Pixel phone, they work fine. If I use them with my computer, they work fine. It's just Samsung intentionally breaks it when you use their devices with this pair of earbuds, and it's the only pair of Samsung earbuds that I've come across it on. So I'm hoping and praying that it's only a one-time thing, that they're not going to do this on all of the earbuds going forward, because like I said, I will return them.
Do you have earbuds that are respected when it comes to absolute volume on a Samsung device?
Yeah, every other pair I've ever tried.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
also using the Huawei FreeBuds Pro 3. I recently bought it, and it really works fine with all settings. And it gives me great noise cancellation. So I'm not super excited for Samsung, but I think even if they have the Buds Pro 3, it won't be as good as the one that I have right now, honestly.
And I wanted to mention the trade-in values are pretty good for these too, especially because I'm always reluctant to sell earbuds. Like it just feels weird. So
yeah,
but yeah, I'll trade them in and then let Samsung worry about selling them or recycling them or whatever. But the offers that they're giving is and I traded in my Buds 2 Pro towards the Buds 3, and they give me $100 off for that. And something else I noticed is that if you select Apple as the brand, they don't let you choose the model. They just call them AirPods and say they'll give you $100 for them. So even if you have like the first gen Apple AirPods just like sitting around somewhere, you could trade them in for $100 credit towards it.
Oh boy.
Just on selling earbuds, I've always waxed lyrical against it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you getting the Buds 3 Pro or the Buds 3, the regular model?
I was not originally going to admit this, but I ordered them both. I wanted the Buds 3 because I like the open. Most of the time, I like the open ear concept. I like hearing what's going around me. But then I saw a review somebody did that said basically the transparency mode on the Pro model is just about as good as what you get with Apple's AirPods Pro, and those are good enough. Like when I turn on transparency mode with those, basically I can hear everything just as well or just as good as if I did not have earbuds in. So I don't know. As of now, I've pre-ordered both. I don't know if I'm going to let them both ship or if I'm going to cancel one or if I'm going to keep the ones I like and return the ones I don't.
Bring them together to compare them, because I was thinking seriously to see what will be the trade-in value for the Buds 2 Pro, and it will be great for me to know a comparison between the Buds 3 and the Buds 3 Pro. So if I'm going to replace my Buds 2 Pro, I'll know what to do.
The thing is though, these trade-in values probably are not going to stay this way after launch. Like usually you have to pre-order it to get these values. But if I happen to get them before launch, because sometimes they ship these things out earlier, I will definitely let you know. Yeah, I might, like I said, if I end up letting both orders ship and both of them have the absolute volume issue, I won't hesitate to return them both. So I mean, it's just that annoys me so much.
Complete with waxy chunks.
So during this unpack, there was a missing component that Samsung usually has, and that's the tablet. For some reason, it was crickets this year. What's the deal, John?
Well, they don't do tablets every year. They usually do them every 18 months. So the last tablet was released alongside the Flip 5 and Flip 6. So that means the next generation, if they stay on their current pace, it will be released with the S25 series.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well, good strategy.
Well, I was wondering if we should say anything about AI. So the press release from Samsung made us on this, and they said AI, whatever that means, will roll out to 200 million Galaxy devices by the end of this year. Anyone got any thoughts on that, or how that actually happens?
I think what this would mean is that a lot of the phones, even probably including some of the A series, good A series phones, will also be getting the AI. And I don't know, unless they're changing their minds regarding the fact that, it would then start to be charged for, was it not till like 2025, then they'll start to charge for it? Or they were saying, I mean, they didn't come out clearly to say they're going to be charging, but you have it free till 2025. So I don't know if they would be charging for it when they roll it out to those many phones. That would be a lot of moolah coming in.
John, any thoughts?
I don't know how much devices have shipped of what, but I was assuming, obviously they've said these Flip 6 and Fold 6 have new AI features that will also be coming to the other the Flip 5 and Fold 5 later, and they have it available on the S24 series, S23 series. And did it go back as far as the S22? I'm not sure. Does anybody know?
Well, from the sounds of it, it sounds like they are going to be pushing it out to a lot of their phones. That's what they're saying. So I think...
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know, like, I didn't do the math. I don't know what 200 million means. Like, how much phones do they sell? If it sounds like a lot, but it could just mean all of their premium phones, because that's how much premium phones they sell.
They couldn't have sold 200 million, 24s or 23s or 21s, or you combine all of those. I don't think they sold that much. So I deduce that they'll be pushing that to other series as well, especially some of the good A series.
Yeah, and they didn't say what AI features which devices will be getting. I mean, they might let some of the lower end devices get some features,
Yeah.
So I'm not taking anything from it. They're just trying to impress their shareholders, because everybody's AI, and they want to say we have the biggest number of AI.
Up next is the App of the Week segment. This is a segment dedicated to app demonstrations. Should you have an app that you would like to demonstrate for our listeners, Feel free to send us the recording of such an app demo to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. And now for this week's episode, here's your app of the week. Well, now let's go ahead and close today's episode with the app of the week. And today we're talking about an RSS feed reader, simply called StreamSphere. Here's that demonstration of StreamSphere. Hi, for episode 188 app of the week, this is demonstrating StreamSphere, StreamSphere. StreamSphere is an RSS reader, and it's kind of clean. I like it. I hope that you like it after you hear the description of the app. For today's demonstration, I'll be using my Pixel 8 Pro running Android 15 Beta 3.1 and TalkBack 15.x. In the way of a nostalgia, I am using the Vocalizer TS to demonstrate this app, and I'll be using the Evan voice variant. I am on the play page of StreamSphere, and now we'll navigate to the About and hear the description of the app. And then you can determine as to whether or not this is for you or not. Let's now tap on the About.
About this app, heading.
And I'll tap
Google Play Store, StreamSphere, RSS Reader, details.
And now let's hear what the description says.
RSS Reader, add, read, save, search, no limits, no account, local processing. This privacy-friendly and ad-free RSS Reader app allows effortless management of RSS feeds, access to favorite articles, and a customizable reading experience. Discover a world of information with ease, featuring a diverse selection of over 700 sources curated. This collection includes 32 popular topics such as technology, sports, food, movies, business, travel, and more, as well as news from 26 different countries around the globe. Stay connected to the world with the news from countries like the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Germany, France, India, Japan, Brazil, and many others. Plus, you have the freedom to add and personalize your own sources to follow content that interests you. Features: comfortable reading mode without distractions, open book, saving favorite articles for quick access, star. Quickly find specific articles with the search feature, magnifying glass tilted left. Automatic feed refresh, disabled by default. Counterclockwise arrows button. Dark theme for a night reading, crescent moon. Internal-external browser globe with meridians. Ad-free prohibited television. No account person gesturing, no man lock with key. No data collection prohibited, bar chart. Unlimited sources, topics, and articles, except for your device's memory. Prohibited locked. Local processing, everything is computed on your device, mobile phone with arrow. Import-export OPML, easily backup or share your sources in box tray, outbox tray. Additionally, user suggestions for relevant sources are welcome to enrich the RSS reader. Your feedback is highly valued, and it contributes to enhancing StreamSphere. Please share your thoughts and report any bugs to help improve the RSS reading experience.
And that's the description of the app. I'll now go back.
Play Store, about this app, heading.
I'll now scroll back to top and tap on Open.
Expand, in list. Open, button. StreamSphere, open navigation drawer, button, out of list.
I am now in the menu eye of the app, and the first thing we heard is Open navigation drawer, and that's found on the top left corner of the phone. Now, let's go ahead and explore the buttons that we find here in the menu eye of the app. We're currently sitting on that open navigation drawer, and now I'll move right, and we got
StreamSphere.
That's the title of the app, moving right.
Search, button.
Next.
Filter, button.
And the last item on the top right corner.
More options, button.
Is the More Options button. Now, I do want to mention here in passing that we don't have any tabs or anything of the sort at the bottom. Instead, we have one single button at the bottom right corner, and that will be the Read All.
Read All button.
Now let's walk our way back to the top and take a look at both the navigation drawer as well as the more options. Let's get started though by looking at the navigational drawer.
Open navigation drawer button.
And I'll tap.
Menu StreamSphere. Enlist 2 items.
Tapping on the navigational drawer, here's what we've got.
Favorites 1 of 2.
Next.
All 2 of 2.
And then the last item here is sources.
Sources out of list.
Now, to the right of the sources are a couple important buttons. The first button immediately to the right of the sources is Add Discovery Source.
Icon for Discovery Sources button.
In other words, when we tap here, we can see all the different topics and categories that we could choose to add as a feed. And then to the right of that, the last button here on the right will be a manual process. In other words, if you tap that button, then you'll be adding the RSS feed manually. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Then we'll go to the discovery page.
Icon to add source button.
This is a manual process. Let's tap.
Add source. Title. Edit box.
The first item we hear, or the first edit field, is the title. So you'll give it the title. Then the second edit field below that.
https://edit box RSS link.
This is the edit field that you will type in the RSS feed that you would like to manually add. And now below that is the last edit field.
Topic. Edit box.
And that's for the topic, whether it's Android, Apple, or whatever. And then at the bottom, below this edit field, we've got 3 buttons from the left to the right. We've got Preview.
Preview button.
Then we have Cancel in the middle.
Cancel button.
And then the OK button to the
OK
right.
button.
I'll tap on Cancel.
Cancel button. StreamSphere. StreamSphere. Enlist 2 items.
Now let's go ahead and tap on the icon that would take us to the discovery page. I'll now tap on the one that takes us there.
Icon for Discovery Sources button. Out of list.
And I tap.
StreamSphere. Navigate up button.
We're now on a page with a lot of categories to choose from. And we've got 2 rows. The first row is all about technology, books, cars, beauty, and all of that. And then below that is another row that's representing countries. In other words, if you tap on a country, you'll be choosing a news source from that country. Let's though get started from the first one. That's the first row on the top. And we've got
Topic image. Android development. Enlist.
And I'm going right. These things go all the way to the right. So you keep swiping or sliding right to get to the next one. So we got Android developers. So if you like to hear about Android development or you want to be participating in Android development, this is the one you go in and find the sources. Let's take a quick look and see what some of these sources are before we look at the other categories.
StreamSphere. Navigate up button. Out of list.
In Android development, we've got the following.
Android developers YouTube channel. Enlist.
Next.
Android developers backstage. Android Backstage. A podcast by and for Android developers. Hosted by developers from the Android engineering team. This show covers topics of interest to Android programmers, with in-depth discussions and interviews with engineers on the Android team at Google.
Next.
Android and Instagram engineering on Medium. Latest stories tagged with Android and Instagram engineering on Medium.
If I scroll down.
Android and MindWorks on Medium. Latest stories tagged with Android and MindWorks on Medium.
You get the drift, and to the right of each of these is an add source.
Add source button.
So if I tap add source here, for example.
Add source. Android and MindWorks on Medium. Edit box. Title. Out of list.
And we're landed in an edit field with the title, and the default title is there. If you want to change it to something else, you just erase that and type in what you want. Next, below that,
https://medium.com feed MindWorks tagged Android. Edit box. RS.
That's the RSS feed, and then the last edit field.
Android development. Edit box. Topic.
And the topic is Android development. And below that edit field on the right, we've got the cancel.
Cancel button.
And to the right of that
OK button.
is the OK button. If I tap OK, I'll be adding that source to my list of sources. I'm going to tap on cancel.
Cancel button. StreamSphere. Add source.
Now I'm going to go back.
StreamSphere. Topic image. Android development in list.
And now let's look at a few of these categories. So we've got Android development, and I'm going right.
Topic image. Android.
Let's go right.
Topic image. Apple.
Let's go right.
Topic image. Architecture.
That's architecture. It doesn't say it right. Let's go right again.
Topic image. Beauty.
Let's keep going right.
Topic image. Books.
One more.
Topic image. Business and economy.
You got the drift. So you can go on, and you can tap on either of those things and then go choose the sources you want to use. Now below that is the other row that I mentioned earlier, and that has to do with countries. So I'll put my finger down, starting from the left and going right.
Topic image. Australia. In list.
And going right.
Topic image. Bangladesh.
Going right.
Topic image. Belgium.
Right.
Topic image. Brazil.
Right.
Topic image. Canada.
You got the drift. So for example, if we tap on Canada, for example,
StreamSphere. Navigate up button. Out of list.
we're now in Canada, and you can add these news sources. This has to do with news, and so starting from the top, we've got news sources like
CBC Top Stories News. For personal use only. In list.
and of course to the right of it, you have the add source.
Add source button.
Next, below that,
Global News.
I'm just moving down.
Financial Post. Canada Business News financial updates and information. National Post. Canadian News. World News and breaking headlines.
You got the drift.
The Province. Vancouver. BC News. Sports and breaking headlines.
Now I'm going to go back.
StreamSphere. Topic image. Canada. In list.
I'll now go back to the first row and tap on Android, since this is about Android.
Topic image. Android.
Let's tap on Android.
StreamSphere. Navigate up.
We're now on a page that has different Android sources, and these sources include
All about Android. Audio. All
I'm
about
just moving
Android.
down.
Android News. Reviews. Tips. Android Authority. Android Authority Podcast. The Android Authority Podcast. Discussing topics in Android. Android Central. Android Forums. News. Reviews. Help.
So let's say we want to add Android Central, for example.
Add source. Button. Add source. Android Central. Android Forums. News.
And we have that edit field with the title, and then
HTTP. 2/feed.
the edit field with the URL for the RSS feed.
Android edit box.
And then we
Topic.
have the topic, and then at the bottom of the edit field on the right, we have,
Cancel. Button.
and
OK. Button.
I'm going to tap OK to add this one.
StreamSphere. Navigate up. But
Now I'm going to scroll down and find one and add it at random.
Android Police. Android News.
Oh,
Review.
there's Android Police there, so I'll move to the right
Add source. Button.
and tap.
Add source. Android Police. Android News.
That's the title area. I'm just going to go tap on OK.
OK. Button.
I just
StreamSphere.
tapped on
Add source.
OK. So now I've got two sources that I have added. Now let's go back out of here.
StreamSphere. Topic image. Android. In list.
We're back to the list of the categories again. I'm going to go back.
StreamSphere. StreamSphere.
And we are in the navigational drawer menu. I'll go back again.
Open navigation drawer. Button. Out of list.
And now we're in the menu eye of the app. The other item we want to look at here is the more options on the top right corner.
More options. Button.
Let's go ahead and tap on more options.
Pop-up window. Sources Manager. In list.
Tapping on more options, the first item we heard is Sources Manager. In other words, if you tap here, you can manage the sources that you've added. You could remove those sources. And also there's an item in there that would take you to the discovery page. We'll come to that, but let's go ahead and look at what else we have here in this menu.
Settings.
We have settings and the last item,
About.
about. Let's go ahead though and look at the settings before we go to the source manager.
Settings.
Let's tab.
StreamSphere. Navigate up. Button. Out.
We are now in the settings area, and I'm not going to necessarily be going through each and every one of the items found here within the settings. I'll just go through them unless I find something that's very important that we need to go into. Otherwise, I'll just go through the items and you can hear them as I go through. Starting from the top, here's what we got. The first heading,
General. Heading.
general heading, and below that,
Night mode. Enable night mode for a darker theme. Switch. Off.
next,
Display read all button. Display the button on the main screen to mark all items as read. Switch. On.
and that's that button at the bottom right. When you tap that, it toggles it to mark all as read, and if you tap it again, it'll set it to unread. Let's move on.
Feeds auto refresh interval. Never.
We come to the refresh, and by default it's set to never, so it's not constantly pinging for new articles. You can just swipe down with 2 fingers to refresh the page, or you can go in here and change it to the frequency that you would like it to check for articles. I think the lowest is 15 minutes and it goes up to 24 hours. In other words, you got 15, 30, 1 hour, 3, 6, 12, or 24 hours. So you choose what you want, but by default, it's set to never. Next,
Feed items. Heading.
feed items heading, and we've got,
Display style. Normal.
if you don't like the normal display style, you could tap here to go change that.
Text size. Adjust text size for the article in feeds. 15.
You have a little bit of sight and you want to change the size of the text. You could change that. There's a slider below here.
Seek per slider. 38% for text size.
There's a seek bar that you can increase by swiping up to increase the size of the text, or you could swipe down to decrease the size of the text. Moving on,
Mark read items. Mark read items in the feed with non-bold titles. Switch. On.
next.
Display images. Display images in the feed. Switch. On.
In other words, if you want to be able to see the images that comes with every article, you could leave this on. But if you don't want to see images, you could turn it off. I think for myself, I'm going to turn it off.
Off.
Next.
Maximum items per source. 50.
So by default, every source is allowed to fetch up to 50 articles. But if you want to decrease that or increase it, you tap here and go change that as you would like. Next.
Reader. Heading.
Under reader heading, we've got
Reader mode. Enable reader mode for a cleaner view of articles. Switch. On.
next.
Swipe navigation. Swipe to navigate between articles and tap to cancel the swipe. Switch. Off.
Next.
Text size. Adjust the text size for the reader. 3.
And we come across the text size for the reader. Of course, we have the slider below that.
Seek per slider. 30% for text size.
Next.
Browser. Heading.
And then we come across browser heading.
Default browser. Open links in the default browser. Switch. Off.
In other words, if you find any links in an article, if you tap on them, it will open natively within the app. But if you want those links to be open in a different browser, then you could just turn this on so that you could choose what browser you would like to open those links found within the article that you're reading natively on the app. Next.
Advanced. Heading.
And this is the last heading, and we have one item here.
Connection timeout per source. 20 seconds.
In other words, it will check each source for up to 20 seconds, and if it's not responding, then it will just time out. But if you want to increase that, then you could tap here and go change how long it would take to try to check that particular source that is not responding. Let's now go back.
StreamSphere. More options, button, out of list.
It took me out of the settings and places me back in the menu eye on the more options. Let's go ahead and tap on that and look at that Sources Manager.
Pop-up window, Sources Manager, in list.
And I'll tap.
StreamSphere, navigate up, button, out of list.
Tapping on the Sources Manager, here's what we got.
Menu icon, popular sources, in list.
Popular sources. In other words, if you tap here, it'll take you back to where we were earlier, where we saw things like the categories like Android development, Android, Apple, beauty, books, etc., and as well as those countries. That's what this will do if you tap here. Next.
Menu icon, edit sources.
You could edit the sources. So in other words, if I tap here, it will show me the sources that I have chosen. I added Android Police and Android Central, and I would be able to remove those if I wanted to remove them, or if there's anything I want to edit about those, that's where I'll find it. Next.
Menu icon, edit topics.
You could edit the topics. Next.
Menu icon, import OPML.
And if you have another RSS feed reader that you would like to import from, this is where you'll tap and go find such an OPML file and import it. Last item here.
Menu icon, export OPML.
You could export your list into an OPML file. Let's go back. That's the last one.
StreamSphere, more options, button, out of list.
Now we're back in the menu eye. Let's go ahead and tap on that open navigation drawer, and then we'll see what we have and see if we could refresh to see if we have any articles. I'll now tap on that open navigation drawer on the top left.
Open StreamSphere, in list, 2 items.
And at the bottom of the items,
Android, collapsed, in list.
we hear Android collapse. So if I tap here, for example,
Android, open navigation drawer, button, view for the feed, list.
and
No content, swipe down to refresh.
if I just swipe down to refresh,
The Samsung Galaxy Watch 7 and Watch 7 Ultra are missing a killer feature, new, 2 hours ago. Samsung's new Galaxy Watch 7 series packs a punch.
I just tapped to stop it and then move my finger
A
down.
Amazfit Helio Ring may launch in India soon, in time for Prime Day, new.
I just tapped to stop it. Now I'm going to tap one of these articles.
The Samsung Galaxy Watch 7. StreamSphere, navigate up, button, out of list, view for the feed.
I just tapped on that article, and if I put my finger down
The Samsung
anywhere,
Galaxy Watch 7 and Watch 7 Ultra are missing a killer feature, heading 1.
and if I move my finger down,
By Nicholas Sutrich, Android Central. Samsung's new Galaxy Watch 7 series packs a punch, but charging options are a bit of a letdown.
that's all that we have about the article. Now on the top right corner, we've got 2 buttons. The one on the top right is,
Open in browser, button.
and the one to the left of that is an all-important button. That's the one that says Get Full Text.
Get full text, button.
And now I tap, and now it will give me that full text.
Image credit, Nicholas Sutrich, Android Central.
Now if I just triple tap with 2 fingers here to say read from here, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just give a little snippet.
The Samsung Galaxy Watch 7 and Watch 7 Ultra are missing a killer feature, new, 2 hours ago. Samsung's new Galaxy Watch 7 series packs a punch, but charging options are a bit of a letdown. Android Central RSS feed, in list, view for the feed. What you need to know, heading to. Bullet, 1 of 3 items. Wireless power sharing, known as power share, used to be a handy feature on Samsung smartwatches for quick charges. Bullet, 2 of 3. However, Samsung removed this feature in its latest Galaxy Watch lineup due to new sensor design, which increased the distance between the internal charging coil and the.
I just tap to stop the reading, but you get the drift. The only thing missing here is the fact that it does not have a TTS readout. So for example, if you want to shut off the screen and just listen to a TTS readout, you're not going to get that with this. So I think that if you want to hear that with a TTS readout, your best bet would be to invoke something like the reading mode and then use that in listening to the article from a TTS readout. Other than that, though, it works well with a Braille device as well. So if you want to read in Braille or you just want to go ahead and read with your screen reader, then you are good to go. And with that, I come to the close of this demonstration, and I hope that you find StreamSphere RSS feed reader to be something that you would like to give it a try. It is nice and clean and doesn't cost you a dime. Thanks for listening. And that's the demonstration for StreamSphere.
I think the only thing I'd like to have seen with that is, I'm guessing, if you want the full text of an article, when you double tap on it, you need an internet connection. And I wonder whether they should have a setting where you can turn on, kind of retrieve the whole thing when it auto refreshes, if indeed you have it to auto refresh, in the event that you want to come back and look at it locally, because it makes a big thing of doing everything locally on the device. And then when it actually came to reading an article, it struck me that it probably doesn't.
Yeah, and the guy is receptive to suggestions, so probably this would be a good suggestion to make it. Just in the event that you're somewhere and then you all of a sudden don't have internet access or whatever the case may be. But I think as long as though you've tapped on that, get that full text, you should still be good to go. And the thing that I like about
you might not have done though, so you might only look at it when you have an internet connection. So that's not amazing that it doesn't have a setting to change that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think what I like about it is that most of these things need an account, and everybody wants to get your account, get your info. This one doesn't care, and totally ad-free, and everything is on your phone. I like that idea.
Yeah, I was trying it out last night, and I think I'm going to keep it. I really like it. You mentioned in the demo that it doesn't read things out loud, but you can use reading mode. And, I tried reading mode. As soon as you open the full article, you just do whatever gesture. I have reading mode assigned to a gesture, and it just brings up reading mode, and you can hit play from there and just listen to it. Turn off the screen if you want to.
Nice, because I like to turn off my screen when I'm reading a long article, for example, and because that saves your battery and all of that. I'm not looking at the screen. There's absolutely no need for me to be keeping my screen on. So it's one of the suggestions that I'm going to be sending to the developer, see if he could implement that. I mean, if all that he does is make it possible for us to choose whatever TTS we have on our phone, I'm satisfied with that.
Will it let you sign into RSS feeds? I know it doesn't need an account, but if you have an account, if you have an RSS feed where you need an account to access it, will it support that?
I didn't see that. The only thing I saw is that you could just import such OPMLs from other. So say, for example, if you have Feedly or whatever, and you want to sign into your Feedly account, I think the whole idea about this is to avoid all that account thing. That's the thrust of it.
Because we have a talking newspaper service here which has an RSS, but I think you need to sign into that RSS. So
yeah, well, you could try it and see what happens.
Yeah,
just for giggles, if if it lets you use it. I'm kind of curious, so try that and let us know if it works or not. And then maybe you could suggest that to him. I mean, see if you could implement something like that. So especially if there's an RSS feed that requires one to sign in, we should have that open to where we could sign into existing accounts on some other reader that we want to use. All good things must end. Thus, it's curtain drawing time, bringing us to the close of this week's episode. Coming up, though, we give you information on how to get hold of us. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. But John, though, has an information on how you can get hold of us in the event that you want to get hold of us. And we do want you guys to get hold of us. So here's that information on how to get hold of us.
To contact us, simply send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. If you'd prefer, you can leave a voicemail by calling +1 307 202 9797. You can join our mailing list by sending a blank email to blindandroidusers plus subscribe@groups.io. You can join our Facebook and Telegram groups or subscribe to our YouTube channel using the links in the podcast show notes or YouTube video description. And you can find all of this information and more at our website, blindandroidusers.com.
Thank you so much for that, John. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. And from my end, I want to say thank you so much for listening to us week in, week out. Until next week, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.